for everyone, because you're not putting yourself at risk and you're not putting your family at risk in case you are stuck. Now this is really important. Let me explain the card to you at this stage. It's in your blue packet. Did you guys get the blue packet yet? Okay. Yeah, this card here is a card that Prevention Point Philadelphia issues. Now these are blank cards. Normally you'd have a number on the back that would identify the participant. But what's so important about this, and I'll tell you why this works so well in Connecticut. In 1995, their study found that they reduced accidental needle sticks to law enforcement by 66% after the needle exchanger program was initiated. But what makes this program successful is the fact that they get to keep their cards. If this program won't be successful and it won't benefit you or the community or the user if this card is taken away from them. If the officer takes the card and thinks that they're doing some kind of service to the department or whatever the reason is, contempt of cop or whatever it may be, but they take the card for some reason, then what you have done is you've put your fellow officer that comes behind you at risk. What we have found in Albuquerque is that when they have the card and they're not afraid of going to jail, they're very, very forthright with us. They tell us that they're involved in the program. They tell us where their dirty needles are so we don't have to chance encounter them. And they tell us what they have on board as far as diseases. But if they don't have this card, if an officer is taking this card away from them, the next officer comes up, do you think they're going to be honest with them? They're not. They're going to lie to that officer. And so you basically put your fellow officer at risk if you take this card, because there's a chance encounter they may get a needle stick as a result of that. The at-risk situations that you encounter as police officers, and this goes without saying, anytime there's body fluids present, you're at an at-risk situation, and there are bloodborne pathogens present. Body search is the #1 place where police officers have a needle stick, because you're searching someone, either it comes through their clothing or you stick your hands in their pockets or something. That's when you get the needle stick. And the other place is searching purses, backpacks, and bags. If you guys can safely do it, you have, and I don't know how it works here, you guys have cover officers riding with you, 2 officers to a car? Not all the time. If you guys can safely have them empty out their effects on the sidewalk and look through them, that's the best way to do it. You don't want to stick your hand into a bag and risk being stuck. It's not worth it. Okay, the results of this program, it's lower cost to the department. Some people may not care about that, but it affects you directly. If the department's not paying for health care costs associated with needle sticks, they have more money to put back into you in the way of equipment and pay raises. It directly affects you. If an officer is stuck with a needle and contracts hepatitis C, it'll cost in excess of $30,000 a year to treat that officer, and that money has to come from someplace. No time lost due to needle sticks. If you're stuck with a needle, you're going to miss a minimum of, and I'm not sure how many hours it'll be, but 4 different times you're going to have to go down and get tested. You're either going to have to do it on your time or the department's time, but either way it's time lost to you. And that's not to be confused with the time that's associated with you agonizing over whether or not you've contracted a disease from a needle stick. To reduce the officer's risk as far as the needle sticks, that goes without saying. If you're stuck with a sterile needle, you're not going to contract any disease whatsoever. This here, there's no anxiety over a needle stick if it doesn't happen. You think about this, if you're stuck with a needle and you're not sure whether you're hepatitis C or HIV positive or whether or not you've contracted disease, just think about how it's going to affect your family life. Because for a year you won't know. You got to go through these series of tests for a whole year, and so for a year you have no idea whether or not this is going to have a negative effect on your life or not. And that's the #1 reason for this program. It provides security for you guys through safe needles. Because if there's a sterile needle and you stick yourself with a sterile needle, it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to happen. You stick yourself with a dirty needle, not only is it a dirty needle, you don't know how many people have used that needle. You don't know if that is the only person that used that needle, or if that needle has been passed around for a number of days and there's been a dozen people that use that needle. In the U.S., every 30 seconds there's a needle stick to the healthcare or law enforcement professionals, every 30 seconds. So you think about that. That's a real eye-opener. Okay, any questions at all?
I think it's a very good program in order to give the people, the best type of things to use, because a lot of times they're sharing needles and, that's A virus is basically being transferred by the needle. So I think the program will work very well.